Hey guys, how you doing? So I wanted to make a quick video about how, when I was in the van, and how I will in the future, store my documents and paperwork when I live in a vehicle. Of course, I had a big file cabinet in the house, but when I moved to my dad's here, I realized I didn't even need half of it, so most of it got thrown away when I moved. But in the van, this is how I would do it. This is how I did do it when I was in the van. So I used these envelopes, and I just had them labeled. So one was short-term save. This would be stuff like you go to Walmart, whatever, you want to save your receipts for a little bit in case something you bought breaks. You know, anything you want to save for just like a month or two would go in here. And then if it was something more expensive, a receipt or a manual that you wanted to save for a while, or any document, you would have the long-term save envelope. And then finally you would have the keep envelope, which would be something that obviously important documents, birth certificate, passport, anything to that effect. Or if I bought something really expensive like my Dometic fridge, I would probably keep that receipt forever as long as I had the fridge. So that would probably go in this, and probably the manual. You know, if you wanted, you could obviously adapt this. You could add another folder just for manuals if you found that to be appropriate, or receipts. But this is just a simple way to do it with these three envelopes. And also I would have this is just a pocket folder. This would also be in there. In this side I would put the things that I needed to do. Say you had a document you needed to fill out, or information about a phone call you needed to make about, for whatever reason, just to take care of business, that would go over here. All right, and say if you had to do something, but you were waiting on some mail to come in, or waiting for the time to be right to pay a bill or whatever, that could go in here. All right. You could, if you had a lot of bills, you could have a separate folder for bills, separate envelope for bills. But hopefully when I get on the road, I won't have that many bills. The bills will just go here, waiting to pay a bill. So I would just stick it here until the time came up where I needed to do it. So along those lines, I also, as I told you, I've been kind of practicing for living in a car, and I've separated the stuff out in my room. And well, I'll show you. See under my cot there, I pretty much have most of the stuff that I would need under my cot. Not everything, but some of the stuff. I've been just storing it under my cot. I should say, one way I cut back on all the receipts and everything that I did need to store in my vehicle is I use my tablet. And if it's like an invoice like this from a car repair, I have a notebook set up in my tablet called Auto Maintenance, and I just take a picture of the receipt. And that way it's stored in my tablet, and I can print this out if I needed to again, but that way I always have a record of the repairs that I've done to my car without actually having to save all the paperwork. So this is actually one of those things you put in the back of a bike, like if you've got a rack on the back end of your bike, it straps to it. So I had this, so I thought I'd just put some of my miscellaneous and car essential items in it. I don't know that I'll bring this, because I think all this stuff could probably fit in compartments or glove boxes. But so this little pouch here, I made kind of my office supplies. So it pretty much fits in this little side pocket. Let me just spread it out and show you what it looks like. So this is basically what I found over the past month or so, or longer, that I use on a regular basis. This is a magnifying glass. It has a little light in it. I use that when I hike to read maps. Whiteout, mechanical pencil and refills, pencil sharpener, post-it notes. That's more for my colored pencils, which I keep more with my coloring book, not with the office supplies. Packing tape. You always seem to need to be taping up mailing packages back or whatever. Scotch tape, scissors, a couple markers, highlighter, and I just always like these little different colored pens. And just a few paper clips and rubber bands that may increase or decrease as time goes by. So keep in mind, I also have like an ADC bag that I carry around that has a notebook in it and other pens and all that. So this would just be kind of my extra office supplies. You know, I suppose you could add to this stamps. I'd probably carry that with my office supplies. Maybe some extra envelopes. That would probably be something I would want to, you know, so I could pay bills. So where I kept these envelopes was, you know, the pouch on the behind the seats. Most cars anyway have this pouch there. So I would just stack them up, and I would stick them in that pouch right in the back of the seat. Of course, it's going to get pretty thick, so you have to kind of keep it cleaned out and be organized. Maybe you need to use both sides or whatever. That's up to you. But that's just a simple way of keeping all your paperwork organized. All right, thank you. Take care.